Did you know that the size of your chicken run can completely change the way your flock behaves around you? Today, we're looking at how we as humans can modify our behavior to make our chickens feel safe and comfortable around us. This is the third installment of my chicken run series, and I think it's really important to look at chicken behavior, to understand chicken behavior, because we as humans can modify our behavior, whereas chickens can't really consciously choose to change theirs. If you have raised your chickens from chicks, if you've hand raised them, then this is probably not going to be super relevant for you because your chickens are probably totally chill with anything that you want to do with them or being really close to you. But if that's not your situation, and I do recommend that people getting started with chickens start with point of lay pullets. So if you're in that category, then this is going to be absolutely essential information for getting started on the right foot. There is a huge difference between how chickens behave in a free-range situation or in a really, really large run versus how they behave in smaller spaces. And that all comes down to the fact that chickens are prey animals. Absolutely everything wants to eat chickens, and humans are no exception. We are more of a predator species, and chickens know that instinctually. So we have to be careful in how we behave so that we don't trigger them into a fear response. So when chickens are in a big space, when they're free-ranging, they know that they can run away, and they can often be much, much more comfortable with people because they know that if anything goes wrong, they can just get out of there. When we take those choices away from them, when we make a run small or there is some way that they feel trapped, then their adrenaline starts to rise and they start to have a flight response where they want to run away, and they get worried and concerned and are looking for ways to get away because they feel trapped. So it's a big, big difference between free-ranging chickens and chickens in a run. Different breeds of chicken and individuals within those breeds can have a different fear response, an adrenaline response. So some breeds of chicken are known to be quite chill, they have a lower fear response, and some breeds of chickens are known for being very flighty, they have a higher fear response. Of course, individuals within all breeds can have either a higher or a lower fear response, so these are generalizations that I'm talking about. But often, if you have a breed of chicken that's known to be flighty, I mean, leghorns come to mind as being considered quite flighty, they are often totally fine in a free-range situation. They will be quite friendly, they'll come very close, they won't panic and flap away because they know they can escape. But you put them in a run and you're probably gonna have to enclose the top because they'll just disappear over your fences when they start to get worried about something. If you've been watching this channel for any length of time, you will often see lots of my chickens just cruising around me while we are filming. And they love to do that. They're chill, they're friendly, they'll come really close to me. But if I put them into a place where they feel trapped, if I need to herd them in somewhere and catch some of them for any reason, they will panic. So even though they're totally comfortable with me, they don't see me as a threat under the vast majority of situations. When they are in their free range situation, as soon as I make them feel trapped, they will start to panic. So that is something to keep in mind. Your chicken's behavior will change. And I, of course, try my best to keep them calm. And that is what we're going to talk about next, how you, the human, can change your behavior to make sure that your chickens see you as someone safe and not a threat. So how do you behave when you're going out to your chicken run? So this is assuming that your chicken run is relatively small and your chickens might feel trapped and threatened. So you're just going to behave in a very, very calm way without overdoing it. You don't want to creep around. Your chickens have got to get used to you and people in general just doing ordinary people stuff. So we don't want to go too far with this. They do need to accept and understand that humans aren't a threat when they're just mostly behaving like humans. So calm and matter of fact, that's your intention when you're going out to your chicken run. You can take your attention away from the chickens when you enter. So if you're going in to do a task, just go ahead and get the task done. Don't stare at your chickens, don't approach the chickens, just do your task. And if they flap off into a corner, ignore them. You can chat to them. I always call out to my chickens and let them know what I'm doing. I'll say, good morning. I'll say, I'm just coming through here to check your water. Or, well, I don't need to tell them if it's food time because they will be there ready to eat. And you can use food as a bit of a bribe, but do keep in mind you don't want to overdo that because chickens will override some of their instincts in order to get to food time. But you want to make sure they're comfortable with you under all situations. A lot of how your chicken flock will respond to you will have to do with your energy. They will respond to the energy that you bring with you out to the run. So you want to come in calm and intentional about what you're doing. You don't want to sort of come in and be moving rapidly with a sort of a strong approach where that is just doing chores or whether that is you're coming to visit your chickens. You don't want to bring a strong energy with you. You want to bring a calm energy with you. So just keep that in mind. You want to be calm without being too cautious. So it is a balance, but you will get the hang of it. One of the best things to do when you're trying to get your chickens used to you is just come out to the chicken run, bring a chair and sit on it and do something else. Do something that takes your attention, your focus away from the chickens, and then they'll feel your focus going away from them and they will just chill and get used to you being there. So that could be something like reading a book, bring your knitting out, sit in the chicken run and do your knitting, whittle a spoon, or you could pull out your phone and watch every episode from this channel. Just anything that takes your focus away from them, they'll feel it go away from them, and then they'll start to get comfortable with you being around them. They'll start to accept you as just part of the furniture, part of the environment. They will start to recognize you not just as the person that brings them their food, but as someone who is cool to hang out with and might bring them some interesting things into their environment. One way to start to understand this adrenaline flight response in your chicken flock is to practice the push-pull method. So what I mean by that is when you approach your chickens with whatever intention you have, whether that is that you want them to move away from you or you don't want them to move away from you, you approach them and see how close you can get before they start to get concerned and move away from you. And at that point, you're going to pull back. You're going to pull back your energy. You're going to drop your gaze away from them. You're going to step back and give them their space again. And so you're putting on a bit of pressure. They're going to move away from you. You're pulling back the pressure. They're going to chill out and possibly come in close to you. So if you go out and practice doing that a little bit, then you'll really start to get a good understanding of where those bubbles of safety are that your chickens have around themselves. And as you get more and more comfortable with your flock and they get more and more comfortable with you, you will see that that bubble gets smaller and smaller, that they will approach you and you can approach them, and it's all good. But it's a really, really good technique to understand just how far that you can push your chickens before they start to lose their minds and go into an adrenaline response. Like all animals, and particularly prey animals, chickens are very sensitive to your intentions. So, for example, in my flock, the chickens will come up, they'll be all around me. I might be out in the garden, the hens will come up and be right there with me, like right in where my hands are, looking for whatever they might find, worms or bugs that I'm scratching up while I'm gardening. And they're totally happy to do that because it's their choice. They could be right beside me in the garden, and if I change my intention to, oh, I would like to touch the chicken or grab the chicken, they absolutely know that I've shifted my intention from the task that I'm doing and being with them to wanting to do something to them. And they'll just be gone. Like I'll go to touch or grab, which I don't actually do, but this is just an example. I'll reach out and boom, they are gone. They absolutely know the minute my intention shifts. So practice that. What intention do you have and how does that change how your chickens respond to you? It will show you a huge amount of information, very valuable information to have about your particular flock and chickens in general. Like most things in life, the more time you can spend with your flock, the faster they will get comfortable with you and you can build a relationship together where they don't see you as a threat. But the most important thing to remember is chickens are prey animals. Don't act like a predator.